Welcome to Voice of Torah. In today's episode, we're diving into deep studies on the days of Noah, uncovering how these ancient narratives resonate with today's world, especially through the lens of artificial intelligence. Brought to you by Beit Yisrael International, we'll explore timeless wisdom and modern insights, drawing connections from the days of old to the age of technology. Stay tuned as we journey through the Torah's light on the past and future. We're thrilled to introduce our hosts, Abraham and Sarah, who bring their warmth, wisdom, and insightful notes from Gaddi Efrayim, drawing on the writings of the sages to each episode.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to explore something fascinating, the intersection of AI and Jewish eschatology.
Sounds a little out there, maybe.
It might sound a little unusual, but trust me, we're going to uncover some really incredible connections.
What's particularly interesting about this deep dive is we'll be using the story of Noah and the flood as a lens.
To help us understand how Jewish thought views AI.
Exactly.
So we'll be working with an excerpt from Noah and AI by Beit Yisrael International. And let me tell you, it's packed with some really surprising insights about technology's role in our spiritual journey.
It really makes you think about those big moments in history.
Right, like the flood and the Messianic era, and how AI fits into that huge narrative.
And we're even going to try and unpack how these ideas might relate to your own life, too.
That's right. Okay, so let's start with Noah. I think most people know the basics, right? Flood the animals 2 by 2.
Right.
But there's so much more to it than that.
Yeah.
Especially when we look at it through the lens of Jewish thought.
Yeah, the flood, according to the sages, wasn't just this act of destruction. It was also a really profound act of purification.
So, like, imagine the whole world submerged in a giant mikveh.
Exactly. A ritual bath, cleansing everything, setting the stage for a new beginning.
It's like hitting the reset button for humanity.
Exactly. And then we get this incredibly powerful symbol of hope, the rainbow. It's God's promise to Noah that he's not going to destroy the world again. And it represents this covenant, this agreement between God and humanity, laying the groundwork for a whole new chapter.
It makes me think about those moments in our own lives.
Yeah.
When we go through really tough times. Those periods of really intense change or upheaval that feel like our own personal floods.
It's often during those times that we're forced to confront our own limitations, to let go of old patterns or beliefs that are no longer serving us.
Hopefully we come out on the other side of those challenges. A little bit stronger, a little bit wiser.
It's like when those floodwaters recede, and we're left with this sense of renewal, a chance to kind of rebuild our lives on a stronger foundation. Now think about that idea of cleansing and renewal that we see in the flood story, and how that might connect to the Messianic era.
The Messianic era. It's one of those concepts that is so full of hope and anticipation. But it can also feel a bit mysterious.
The Messianic era, according to Jewish tradition, is kind of this ultimate culmination of history. It's the time when the world will be completely rectified, when all of that brokenness and that fragmentation will be healed. It's the era of Tikkun Olam, which means repairing the world.
So it's not just about waiting for a magical savior to appear. It's about actively working towards a better future.
Exactly. And what does that better future, that rectified world, what does that look like? It's a world where peace prevails, where knowledge of the divine just fills the earth, and where humanity's full potential is finally realized. Imagine a world where every single person can thrive and contribute their unique talents to the collective good.
I love that. A world where everybody's potential can be unlocked. It really makes you think about what kind of world we want to create.
And what each of us can do in our own way to contribute to that vision. Now let's bring AI into the picture.
Okay.
This is where the excerpt from Noah and AI gets really interesting.
Because at first glance, artificial intelligence and the Messianic era seem like they're coming from completely different worlds.
Right. But the source asks a really profound question. Can AI actually be a tool for Tikkun Olam? Can it help us repair the world and move closer to that Messianic vision?
Or is it potentially a force for destruction? Something that could lead us further away from that ideal.
Remember the generation of Noah. The text tells us that they were so advanced in their knowledge and technology, perhaps even more so than we are today. But they used that knowledge for these really corrupt and selfish purposes, ultimately leading to their downfall.
It's a really powerful parallel. So you're saying that AI could be like a double-edged sword. It has the potential to be incredibly beneficial, but it also carries that risk of being misused.
Precisely. Think about it. On the one hand, AI has this incredible capacity to process information, solve complex problems, and connect people all over the globe. It could be this huge force for good, helping us to address some of the world's most pressing challenges.
Like finding solutions to climate change, developing cures for diseases, or even bridging these cultural divides.
Right.
It's almost like AI could help us unlock a whole new level of human potential.
But there's a flip side to that coin.
There always is, right?
What if AI is used for harmful purposes? What if it falls into the wrong hands? Or is programmed with these faulty ethical guidelines?
We've already seen kind of glimpses of that in the real world, haven't we?
Think about the potential for AI to be used for surveillance manipulation or even warfare. It's a very sobering thought. And it forces us to confront the ethical implications of this technology.
It's like we're standing at this crossroads,
Yeah.
and we have to choose which path we're going to take.
And those choices that we make as individuals, as communities, as a global society, those choices are going to determine whether AI leads us closer to the Messianic vision or further away from it.
So how do we ensure that AI is used for good? How do we harness this incredible power without falling into those same traps as the generation of Noah? That's what we're going to explore in the rest of our deep dive.
We'll delve into specific ways AI could be used to enhance Torah study, promote spiritual growth, and contribute to Tikkun Olam. We'll also look at some of the potential pitfalls, and we'll explore what Jewish teachings have to offer in terms of ethical guidance.
Get ready for a deep dive into the intersection of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge technology.
Welcome back to our deep dive into AI and the days of Mashiach.
It's pretty amazing to think that we're living at a time, when these ancient prophecies and this cutting-edge technology are like intersecting.
It really is like we're watching a whole new chapter of history unfold
Right.
in front of us.
And in part one, we were talking about how AI has this incredible potential to be both beneficial and detrimental.
Right.
It's like this double-edged sword that we need to learn to wield responsibly.
So how can we, drawing from Jewish ethics, ensure AI is developed and implemented responsibly? How do we make sure it doesn't become like another flood,
Right.
a force of destruction rather than renewal?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's not just theoretical anymore. AI is playing a huge role in our lives already in ways we might not even realize.
Think about all those algorithms that determine what we see on social media, or the facial recognition technology being used for security. AI is shaping our world in some pretty profound ways.
And as AI becomes even more advanced, it's going to raise all sorts of new questions and challenges. This excerpt from Noah and AI really emphasizes that we need to be thinking about these things now before it's too late.
Absolutely. We need to approach AI with wisdom and foresight, just like the ancient sages approached all the challenges of their time. One of the most important things we need to consider is how AI might impact human relationships.
Even connection.
And connections.
Right, because in the Messianic era, one of the key characteristics is that idea of unity and harmony, not just between people, but between humanity and the divine.
And that sense of connection, it's so essential for us, for our well-being, both individually and collectively. But what happens if we start to rely too much on AI? What if we start to see ourselves as less than human, compared to these super intelligent machines?
Yeah, I can see how that could happen. I mean, we already see people spending hours and hours just glued to their screens, interacting more with their devices than they are with people.
Right. It's like we're becoming more isolated, even as we're becoming more technologically connected.
And that isolation can lead to all sorts of problems, can it? Loneliness, depression, this sense of being disconnected from the world.
Exactly. And it can also erode our sense of empathy and compassion, which are so important for building a just and harmonious society.
So how do we prevent that from happening? How do we make sure that AI actually enhances our humanity rather than diminishing it?
Well, the source material offers some really interesting insights here. It suggests that we need to be really mindful of how we're using AI to make sure technology is serving us rather than the other way around.
Like remembering that AI is a tool, not a replacement for human connection.
Right. We need to be intentional about creating opportunities for that real face-to-face interaction. We need to make time for family and friends, for being involved in our communities, and for things that nourish our souls.
Because ultimately, it's those human connections, those bonds of love and empathy that will lead us towards the Messianic vision.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Technology can be this really powerful tool for connecting people, but it's important to remember it's just a tool. Real connection happens on a human level, heart to heart, soul to soul.
It makes me think about another aspect of the Messianic era The idea that knowledge of the divine will just fill the earth.
Yes, and this is where AI could play this really interesting role. Think about all of the knowledge and wisdom that's contained in Jewish texts. The Torah, the Talmud, the mystical teachings of Kabbalah.
It's an absolute treasure trove
Yeah.
of spiritual insight, but it can also be really dense and difficult to access.
Especially for people who are new to Jewish learning or, who don't have a background in Hebrew or Aramaic.
Right.
But what if AI could help unlock those treasures? What if AI could make those teachings more accessible to everyone?
Yeah.
Imagine AI-powered tools that could translate ancient texts, provide insights into complex interpretations, and even create these personalized learning experiences, that are tailored to individual needs and interests.
It's like having a personal tutor guiding you through all the intricacies of Jewish thought.
Exactly. It's all about using technology to amplify our understanding, to deepen our connection to our heritage and to the divine. And that, in a way, is also a form of tikkun olam, repairing the world by making that wisdom and knowledge more accessible.
It's a beautiful idea. But as with any powerful tool, there are potential pitfalls we need to be aware of. For example, how do we make sure that AI doesn't replace that human element of Torah study? The role of the teacher, the importance of dialogue and debate, the deep personal connection that comes from wrestling with these texts.
That's a really crucial point. We need to be careful not to let AI become a substitute for real human interaction and guidance. The technology can be a powerful supplement, but it should never replace the human heart and mind.
It's like any other tool. We need to use it wisely and with intention, making sure it's serving our highest purpose.
Exactly. And that purpose ultimately is to bring us closer to the Messianic vision, a world of peace and harmony and divine revelation.
A vision that might seem far off, but we can start taking those steps towards it today, both individually and collectively. And AI, if we use it wisely and ethically, can be a really powerful ally in that journey. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into AI and the days of Mashiach.
It's been a fascinating journey, hasn't it, exploring these ideas together?
We've covered so much ground, from ancient floods and the Messianic era to AI. It's incredible how these ideas are connected.
Yeah, and in the first two parts, we talked about AI's potential for good and bad. We looked at the challenges, the opportunities, and how Jewish teachings can guide us in this new world of tech.
So now in this final part, we're going to shift our focus to action. What can we actually do?
Right, it's one thing to discuss ideas, but how do we actually put them into practice?
Exactly. So how can we, as individuals and as a society, ensure AI is used for tikkun olam, for the betterment of humanity? That's the big question.
Well, this excerpt from Noah and AI encourages us to think practically. What actual steps can we take to shape the future of AI?
So where do we even begin? What are some tangible things we can do to ensure AI aligns with our values and hopes for the future?
One of the most important things is simply being aware. We need to be mindful of how AI is already woven into our lives and how it's shaping our world. It's about paying attention to how it's being used, both the good and the bad.
Yeah, because sometimes AI feels like this abstract thing, happening out there in the tech world. But it's really all around us, influencing our decisions and experiences in subtle ways.
Think about it. Those recommendations you get on streaming services, the news articles in your feed, even the traffic lights controlling cars.
It's wild.
AI is behind so much of what we encounter every day.
It's becoming like this invisible hand guiding modern life.
And that's exactly why awareness is crucial. We need to be able to spot AI, understand how it works, and really think critically about its impact. It's about being informed citizens in this age of AI.
So it's not about becoming tech experts ourselves.
No, not at all.
But having at least a basic understanding of how AI functions and its effects on society.
Exactly. And once we have that awareness, we can start asking the important questions. Who is developing this technology? What are their values? How are they using it? Who benefits?
It's about taking ownership of our relationship with AI, rather than passively accepting whatever comes our way.
Right. And that feeling of ownership gives us power to make choices. We can support companies developing AI responsibly. We can choose to use AI tools that match our values. We can advocate for policies that promote ethical AI development.
It's about shaping the future of AI, not just being shaped by it.
Exactly. Another impactful way to influence AI is through education. We need to teach young people about AI from a young age. Not just the tech stuff, but the ethics and the societal impact.
It's their world, right?
They're the ones who will be living in a world increasingly shaped by AI.
Need to be ready.
They need the knowledge and skills to navigate this new reality.
And it's more than just coding or building robots.
Exactly. It's about critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and a sense of responsibility to society.
It's about empowering them to be creators and innovators, shaping this technology for good, not just being passive users.
Imagine a generation fluent in AI ethics as much as they are in coding. Now that's a future worth working towards.
I love that. And it's not just about the younger generation. We can all play a part in shaping AI ethically. We can discuss these issues with friends and family, engage in public conversations, support organizations promoting responsible AI.
It's about creating a culture of awareness, a collective consciousness about AI's power, its potential, and the responsibility that comes with it.
Okay, so let's connect this back to the Messianic era and Tikkun Olam. How can we use AI to actively repair the world and bring about positive change? How do we make it real?
Oh, there are so many possibilities. Think about how AI could help us address the big challenges. Poverty, hunger disease, climate change conflict.
It's like a new powerful tool to tackle these issues.
AI can help us analyze data, identify patterns, and come up with innovative solutions. We can use it to allocate resources better, even connect people across borders and cultures to collaborate.
It's amplifying our human ability to solve problems and work together.
Right. Imagine using AI to create personalized education for kids in underprivileged communities, or to develop sustainable agriculture, or to predict disease outbreaks, or even to help with peace negotiations.
Wow. The possibilities are huge.
And it's not just global challenges. AI can improve our individual lives, too. It can connect us with loved ones, help us learn new skills, explore our creative sides, even deepen our spiritual practices.
It's about using AI to live more fulfilling and meaningful lives.
It comes down to remembering technology as a tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It's our choice, how we use it to shape its direction and make sure it serves our highest goals.
And ultimately, that choice shows who we are as human beings, our values, our beliefs, and our vision for the future.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's remember that the future isn't set in stone. We have a choice. We can choose to use AI to create a world of Tikkun Olam, a world where tech serves humanity, where knowledge of the divine fills the earth, and where everyone can thrive.
It's an inspiring vision, and it's one we can all contribute to each in our own way.
Start with awareness, ask questions, make conscious choices, educate yourself and others, and use AI in your own life in ways that align with your values.
And remember, even small actions make a difference. Every choice, every step we take, brings us closer to that messianic vision of a redeemed world.
This has been such a thought-provoking exploration. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into AI and the days of Mashiach.
We hope this conversation has inspired you to think deeply about AI's possibilities and the responsibility that comes with it.
And to keep exploring how ancient wisdom can guide us in this complex modern world.
Keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep striving to make the world a better place. Until next time.